Highest good. It's a phrase you'll hear me use quite often. You hear others use quite often. And I just want to be clear on what I mean when I say the highest good. Today on Morning Love. Good morning and welcome to Morning Love, your daily dose of love, hope, and encouragement from here at Buckwheat Farms Magic Emporium and Ballroom. We're back to the reversed logo. I'm back to using my cell phone for videoing. For those who were in on the live call yesterday, live presentation, yesterday, I used my laptop, and so the logo was correct. So until I can maybe start taping these in the afternoons when Charlene can work the camera, get the logo flipped around. But anyway, I want to thank everybody who tuned in yesterday. We had quite a really good. It was one of the most popular videos we've had in the short term immediately after. And so things are really starting to move in that direction. I posted some comments on the video about my intention going forward, and I'd like for you to have to join in with that positive intent for me, for those things that you would have some positive thoughts for doorways to be opened and for opportunities to arise, and for me to have the wisdom and foresight to recognize those opportunities. I really believe we're in a prime time. But I want to talk today about the highest good, because I always say I'm seeking the highest good. And that's a term that kind of gets thrown around sometimes and misused. I mean, I've confessed to being a former fixer myself. If you check out the content on the fixer, and you'll know what I mean. And as a fixer, I often found myself using, I'm just looking out for their highest good, basically. I'm just looking out for their own good. I'm looking out for them as the excuse for my wanting to fix things. And really what it was is I was just being and this is a total boomer reference here, I was being a Mrs. Kravitz. And I would challenge you to try to find some old episodes of the series Bewitched. Just ignore all the black and white sexism, racism crap that was inherent in TV at that time, and look for a lady by the name of Mrs. Kravitz. She's a nosy neighbor who was all the time wondering what was going on at the house next door, where of course the witchcraft was going on. And so she was all the time getting in trouble and causing issues because of her nosiness. And my brother Bob and I, a couple of years ago, were having a few adult beverages and discussing things. And I asked him, he was talking about other people and what they were doing and everything. And I said, the issue is you need to, and excuse my crudity, this is two brothers drinking. I said, you need to learn to piss between your own 2 feet. You need to learn to only be concerned with what you can control. And see, that's what happens when we get this altered and skewed concept of seeking someone else's highest good. What we're actually doing, and see, this is really hard for me too, because I have a talent and an ability of recognizing qualities in others that they may not recognize in themselves, abilities in others. I have a unique insight into putting the right people in the right spots and suggesting to them where, career paths, that kind of thing. And I think it's simply because I've learned to step back and not try to do what I want to do. And so there has to be a balance there, because I recognize that potential, not to dwell on what ought to be, but recognize what is. Because again, as you know, I talked about with the fixer, is whatever point they're in is not only the point they need to be because something is going on, something is happening that needs to happen to progress their walk, but it's also where they desire to be, because we're always exactly where we want to be. Because when you really want to change something, you will. You will be relentless. Now, you know, I don't want to seem like I'm pushing that only success is success, because failure is success. Every endeavor is success. So we fall into this duality, this thinking of dualities, this thinking of good or bad, and that's that if it's not a success, then it's a failure, and success is good and failure is bad. Well, you know, sometimes success is bad. Sometimes success leads us into a false sense of security. Sometimes failure is the best thing that can happen to us, because it turns us away from a situation where that's more positive and moving in a better direction for us. My own example: if it hadn't been for failed marriages, I never would have found this wonderful relationship that I have now. So again, this judging of things, this of what should be versus what is. So what do I mean when I say the highest good? I say whatever the highest good is for you, whatever your desire is, because again, we've been told from the earliest of age that our desires are bad, that they're carnal, to use the church term. Well, you know, there's nothing wrong with your desires. And that's why we're here, is to experience the desires, to experience the expression of those desires and the consequences of the expression of those desires. We are just energy, and we're information gathering bits of energy. And so rather than trying to struggle with what should be, let's just relax today in what is. And that doesn't mean we can't aspire to greater things. But again, we go back to the cliche of being the change, because once you accept what is within you and you begin to move in that, there's a power in that, and you begin to draw others. It's almost like a wake on a boat. As you're moving, you begin to draw others into your wake. So today, as you go forth in positivity. Don't worry about the highest good for others. Seek your highest good. Because once you begin to love yourself in that way, you can't help but love others. See, the love overflows to others. Namaste.